let's talk about the thumbs up emoji. If I text my husband to let him know I'm stopping for gas on the way home and he sends me back a thumbs up, I know exactly what that means. Got it. Thanks for the heads up. See you soon. We're good. Now, ask someone in their mid-20s what a thumbs up emoji means when their manager sends it in response to something they said, and you might get a very different answer. Cold, dismissive, a little passive-aggressive maybe, like, okay, fine. Neither of us is wrong. We just grew up in completely different communication landscapes, and we each absorbed a completely different set of rules about what things mean. Rules so automatic that we don't even know we have them until they collide with someone else's. This is happening in workplaces every single day. And I think it's behind a lot more conflict and frustration than most people realize. Here's the version that shows up at work. You have a conversation with an employee. You explain what you need. They nod. They say they understand. You walk away feeling like that's handled. And then they don't do what you asked for at all. And you're left standing there thinking, what just happened? Are they ignoring me? Do they just not care? I would never have done that to my boss. What is going on? Probably this wasn't deliberate. What's more likely is that you and your employee were operating from two different sets of assumptions about the conversation you just had, and neither of you knew it. This is not a new problem. Every generation has looked at the one that came after it and said some version of kids today. And every generation of kids today has looked back and thought some version of, okay, boomer. What's actually happening underneath all of that is two groups of people who each learned how the world works from completely different experiences. And both of them are assuming, without really thinking about it, that their version of how the world works is just how the world works. That assumption is where communication breaks down. In families, in friendships, and very much in the workplace. Because here's the thing about a salon or a spa or really any small service business. Your frontline staff is often young. Your management is often older. And the gap between those two worlds is wider right now than it has maybe ever been. The rules about everything from how you show up to work, to how you signal that you heard something, to what counts as a reasonable workplace expectation, those rules are genuinely different depending on when and how you grew up. That doesn't make anyone a villain. It makes everyone human. But it does mean that if you're running a business and you want your team to actually function, to understand what you need to meet your expectations, to show up in a way that serves your customers, you cannot assume that your normal is their normal. You actually have to bridge the gap. If you'd like some practical advice about how to do that, watch this video next.